Hey guys, for arithmetic today, I want you to watch the Go Noodle video Hullabaloo to practice your greater than and less than. Then come back and finish watching this video. We're going to learn something brand new. Today, we are talking about 1/3. Now, we've already talked a little bit about fractions up to this point. We've talked about fractions that are 1/2 and fractions that are 1/4. And today we are going to talk about 1/3. So if you listen carefully to the words, you can hear that it's a 1 on top and a 3 on the bottom. And if you really remember back to when we first started talking about fractions, you can remember that the bottom number is the number of total parts. However many parts the thing needs to be cut into, the whole thing, how many parts there are. The top number is the number of parts we're talking about. So for here, for 1/2, it's going to be 2 parts total. We're going to cut something into 2 parts, but we're only going to talk about one of those parts, half of the thing. 1/4, it's 4 parts total, but we're only going to talk about one of those parts. So today we're talking about 1/3, 3 parts total, and we're only going to talk about one. So for example, if I had a banana, we're going to have a green banana. And I wanted to share it with 3 friends. I'm not going to cut just the little tip off and give that to one person and then cut like another little small piece and give that to the other person and save half of it for me. I'm going to actually cut it as equally as possible into 3 parts. So that's 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts. Then I can give 1 part to each person. So let's say this part's for me, this part's for my mom, and this part's for my dad. Everybody gets an equal part. So each person gets to eat 1/3. Me, I get this 1/3. My mom gets this 1/3, and my dad gets this 1/3. So if we think about it carefully, how many pieces will it take to equal the whole banana? 3 pieces to equal the whole banana. So if I have 3 people, it will equal exactly the right number of pieces per person. Now, let's say we have, think back to when we talked about a yardstick. This isn't the real length of a yardstick, but we'll just pretend that this is a yardstick. If you think about it, 1 yard, how many feet are in 1 yard? If you can remember, there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So I have, just guessing, about here, that's 1 foot. Here, that's 2 feet. And here, this is 3 feet. So if I cut it up equally, this is 1 foot plus 1 foot plus 1 foot. So 1/3, one of these sections, it's cut into 3 pieces, 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece. One of these sections is 1 foot long. So 1/3 of a yard equals 1 foot. I know that's a little bit trickier to think that far, but if we break up the yard into 3 pieces, it'll be 1 foot in each piece exactly because there are 3 feet. Then take one of those pieces and that's 1/3. 1 piece out of 3 total pieces means 1/3. It is actually 1 foot long when we're talking about a yard. If we're talking about other things, I didn't measure this banana, but 1/3 of this banana would be about this much space. This would be 1/3 of the banana. 1/3. 3 total parts, but we're only talking about 1. So, how many thirds do we need to make 1 whole? We need 3/3 to make 1 whole. We need 1/3 here, 1/3 here, 1/3 here. So, we need 3 pieces to make a whole when we're talking about 1/3. When something is divided into thirds, it has been divided into 3 equal parts. When we put the 3 parts together, we get 1 whole. For example, if I colored in all 3 of these pieces, put all of our pieces back together, my banana is back together in 1 whole piece. If I had something else, let's say a chocolate bar, cut into 2 pieces, 1 piece would be 1/2, plus this side, I have a total number of pieces equals 2. And how many are colored in? 2 pieces are colored in. So I'm talking about 2 pieces, and there's 2 total pieces. 2 pieces plus 2 halves equals 1 whole chocolate bar. You can see that I'm talking about the 1 whole chocolate bar. Same thing goes for if my chocolate bar is split into 3 pieces, thirds. So this would be 1/3. If I have 2 pieces colored in, that would be 2/3. And if I had 3 pieces colored in, that would be 3/3, which equals my whole chocolate bar again. So 1. I can do the same thing again for fourths. Let's say my candy bar is cut into fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one would be 1/4. The second one would be 2/4. And if you look carefully, that's actually half of the candy bar, so you could actually write 1/2. This would be, 3/4. 3/4. And the last one would be all of them, so that's 4/4, which equals 1 whole candy bar once again. I know fractions are not the easiest thing. The best way to look at fractions is to draw a picture. So, draw your picture. The bottom number is how many pieces you're going to cut it into, and then the top number is how many are colored in. If you look at your worksheet for today, page 247 and 248, 248 is where you're going to actually practice thirds or fractions at all. Section 1, you're going to color 1/3 of each shape. It's already cut for you. You only have to color 1/3 of that shape. So if it's already cut into 3 pieces, you should be able to figure out how many pieces you're going to color in. 1/3 of the whole thing. How many pieces are you going to color in? 1. Okay. Section 2 says mark the fraction for each shape. Mark NF if the parts are not fractions. You don't have to do any coloring except for filling in the circle for the correct answer. Now, you're going to choose between halves, thirds, fourths, and no fraction. The other important part about fractions is all pieces must be perfectly equal. Perfectly equal. So, you can't have a square that's cut, actually let's say a circle. You can't have a circle that's cut like this, because those parts are not equal. The parts must be perfectly equal. It must be like as best as I can draw a circle and a line, we know that's half on that side and half on that side. Has to be equal. You can't have one space that's way smaller than the other or one space that's way bigger than another. So if your shapes have spaces that are not equal, then they must be not fractions. They're not cut the right way. When we talk about halves, your bottom number is 2, which means you have 2 total pieces. When we're talking about thirds, your bottom number is 3 total pieces. And we're talking about fourths, your bottom number is 4 total pieces. Those are the same numbers we use when we're counting on the calendar, when we say the first, second, third, not first, second, but third and fourth. Those are those same numbers we use. That's how you can recognize them. For section 3, circle the coin that would equal 2 dimes and 6 nickels. Count those carefully. Section 4, write the temperature you see in the thermometer. On page 247, that's all review as well. So read the directions for section 1, 2, and 3 very carefully. They're close together, so I don't want you to lose any of those problems. And then section 4, that's a lot of problems to work on for subtraction, and there's some addition, they're mixed together. So be careful, circle your sign to make sure you're doing the right kind of problem. And section 5 is reviewing multiplication. It's times 10, and you should be doing fine with times 10. Let me know if you have any questions. I know 1/3 can be kind of tricky, so please let me know if you have any questions, if it's tricky for you. And I'll try and help you the best as I can. I'll talk to you later. Bye.